fundamental premise of multiplayer is that you are a product tester. You're somebody who's getting out there in the field, trying out new plasmids and seeing which ones of them are the most effective. So as a starting point, that gives us a little leeway to adjust the plasmids to make sure they are really well tuned for the multiplayer experience.
Yeah. So obviously the way those elements need to work in a multiplayer and how they need to be balanced is really important to us. So it's not a progression system where you get a plasmid and it's better than all the other options, right? Everything needs to be balanced right off the bat. So that's really important, and we make sure we really concentrate on that. I think it's fair to say, for those who've played BioShock 1, that the elements that you see maybe in the other splicers in BioShock 1, if you think about those elements, maybe you can expect to see some of that kind of stuff in the multiplayer of BioShock 2.
Well, you can't have BioShock without a Big Daddy.
There'll be a random placement in the map where it'll spawn eventually, and it's always different where it actually gets placed. And if you happen to stumble across it and discover it, you can interact with it. By interacting with it, you'll actually put the suit on, and you'll become the Big Daddy for as long as you can survive as the Big Daddy.
But it's a total strategic point too, because if you know where that pickup is, you don't necessarily have to jump into it right away. You can either jump on it or you can sit around it and wait and see who else shows up. It gives you some interesting opportunities, which is what BioShock is all about.
We've removed the pipe dream minigame, of course, in order to promote the type of play that's necessary for the multiplayer game and just for that flow. So now it's time-based. You go up, you hold your button down, you hack the turret, and then at that point it's on your side. Yeah.
And I think that's really our philosophy for the multiplayer game, is we don't want to do things that are cumbersome. If there's still vending machines in the world, but those vending machines are places where you get your health, you get your EVE pickups. You get in there, you get out of there. We're not making you go through a whole interface for that, because what we wanted to do is take the BioShock experience and translate it into something that feels really good in multiplayer. Well, we know that in BioShock 1, the player walks in basically the moment after the New Year's Day 1959 or New Year's Eve 1959. There was this giant party, a statue got blown up, and all sorts of bad stuff was going down. The multiplayer game actually takes place starting a year before that, so you get to participate in the events that take place before the Civil War and during the Civil War that sort of led to Rapture going to hell a little bit.
The Civil War just kind of made a lot of sense for the multiplayer experience to take place, only because it really works well for team-based play. So it was kind of perfect opportunity to take advantage of that.
Right on.
In addition, given the way Rapture works, if there was a company, it was all about capitalism, all about people trying to make money, make a profit off of whatever was going on. And so the company Sinclair Solutions saw what was going on with the Civil War and said, maybe there's an opportunity here for us to test some products, get some people feeling safer out in the world.
You'll notice that we have turrets that are placed in the levels, and by going up to them and hacking them, they'll turn to your side. They'll belong to you, and at that point they'll assist you in the actions that happen around them in that little bit of territory.
I think our key goal with the multiplayer is to give the experience of what it was like in Rapture before Jack got there, which is really a part of the world, a part of the storyline that people haven't had a chance to explore. Jack changed things up when he got there, but I think it's really interesting what happened. What happens in an underwater Art Deco objectivist dystopia when there's a civil war on. BioShock 2 is coming out on November 3rd for 360, PS3, and PC.